Hi and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to cook the best thing in barbecue. It's meat on a stick. It is beef short ribs. So stay with me in this video and I'll show you all the little tricks, all the little tips that you need to get the best beef short ribs you possibly can do. These things are absolutely amazing, but you need to know how to cook them right, and I'll show you that today. So I got these from John Davison. He's an online butcher. I'm not getting paid, these aren't free, they haven't been sent to me or anything like that, but he gets such amazing produce from him. It's just, I don't mind giving him a shout out for free. Go and check him out, and he's a really nice bloke as well. So the first thing we need to do on these is, on the top of this we've got a fat cap. So all this fat cap on here, we need to trim that off. We want to put the rub on the actual meat itself. We don't want to put it on this fat. Some of it will render off, but it's basically under this you've got like a silver skin and that won't render. So we need to strip as much as we can off of that and then put the rub straight onto the meat. So let's trim this off. So we're literally just trying to take the fat off. Make sure when you do this you have a really sharp knife. And also another little trick is, if you take this straight out of the fridge so the meat's nice and cold, it's a lot easier to trim than if you let it warm up. So I'm using the fat as a bit of a guide. So because you've got this sinew, this skin under here, it's pretty tough, and you can glide your blade along that, and that helps you get as close to the meat as possible and take as much fat off as possible. You will lose some meat, there's no two ways about it, but if you try to cook this as it is, it'd be horrible. So I'm going to skip to the end of this bit, but trust that I've cut all this off, and I'll show you the finished bit in a minute. So this is kind of what you want to see as the finished product. So you can see I've got the vast majority of it. There's maybe a little bit down here that I could get rid of, but I'm not too worried about that. But you can see I've exposed all the meat along here, and you can see all that intermuscular fat there. So that's going to melt down, that's going to give you all your flavour, all the juiciness, and that is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So the next thing we're going to do is apply the rub. So with the rub, first I'm going to apply a binder. So I love Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire sauce. This stuff on beef for me is the best thing you can possibly use. So we're going to give this a liberal coating, rub all that in. A lot of bugs around today. I'm going to fight them off. Probably means there's a thunderstorm coming, or thunderbugs. So I'm going to apply that on, put it on all the sides so that's nice and wet. So the next thing to do is apply the rub. So what I've got here is 50% coarse black pepper, 50% kosher salt, well actually probably about 40% kosher salt, and then what I've added to that is some Lowry's seasoned salt. This stuff is amazing. So it's mainly salt, but there's a few herbs and spices in there as well, and it just gives it a beautiful flavour. So I've probably added about 10% by volume of Lowry's salt into this mix. So from a decent height, just give this a good application. We'll do the sides. I'm even going to do the back. So the back is left, so we've left the membrane on the back here, so this skin. So normally if you're doing pork ribs you take that off, but this I've left it on, so you won't get any of this rub going through to the meat, but it still helps catch the smoke and still help that stick to the meat, and helps that heat and everything come through as well. But the main reason we leave the skin on the back, the membrane on the back, is it holds the bones together. If you were to take that off, then towards the end of the cook, when these bones, and they're going to become pretty loose, it basically would fall apart. So that just helps it stick, keep everything together basically. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So we're going to give that about 10 minutes to adhere, and then we put it in the smoker. Okay, so this has had about 10 minutes now, 10-15 minutes. That salt, pepper and the Lowry's salt is nice and adhered to this now. I'm just going to stick a meter probe in, and I'm going to go for about here. I'm going to also go between the bones, so this is kind of like the thickest part. I'm going to try to go right in the middle of where the bones are, because if you get too close to a bone, that'll give you a bit of a false reading. And I'm going to go into the side, because later on when we wrap this, I don't want that probe sticking out and ripping the paper sort of thing. So we're going to go in from here, because it's a nice thick part. So that's gone into about halfway. Okay, let's put this on the smoker. So today the smoker's running at 275. I'm going to put the thicker end towards the smoke, towards the fire pit. So we're not going to look at those for another 2 hours at least, maybe even 3. I'm going to try and run that pit at 275 consistently. Just watch it like a hawk, get a beautiful thin blue smoke going through there, and we should have some great barbecue. Oh, look at that. So the bark is starting to set. You can see all that along there. Starting to form that beautiful bark. You can see the fat starting to render. So then juices starting to come out, but we're quite a way off wrapping this. So still a way to go on this one. You see you've got nice pullback starting to happen on the bones, front and back. That's exactly what we want. So it's 4 hours in, this is exactly where it needs to be. This is looking really good. Right, let's check back in another hour. So these beef short ribs have been on for 5 hours now. I spritz them occasionally just along the edges to stop it drying out, but they have cooked amazing. This pit has rolled at 275 without a hitch today. It's been absolutely amazing. So let's get these out and wrap them up. Now, before we actually do get them out, the first thing I'm going to do is get my apple cider vinegar and water mix and just give the paper a bit of a spray. The reason to do that is that it just makes it a little bit more malleable, easier to fold. Look at those, they are looking amazing. Look at all that juice is still on there, they are perfect. Right, so before I do actually wrap them, so this is our beef Wagyu tallow. And I'm just going to add a few bits just on top, and that'll help just put a little bit of moisture back in and make these beef ribs taste absolutely amazing. Right, so when you're wrapping you need to keep nice tight folds, so wrap the sides in first, fold that in, do the other side, give that a good crease, and then on the back, and then we'll fold these over, give it a nice good pull, keep it nice and tight, over again, and that is perfect. So your meat is still on the top here, so the bone's obviously underneath, and we'll put those back on, stick a probe in so we can monitor it. We're going to try and take these roughly to 203, but more importantly that is going to be the texture and feeling. So we're going to probe these, make sure they feel like basically like butter. Once they're at that point, then they're done. So let's stick these back on, and we'll check back in about 30 minutes. Just keep an eye every 30 minutes. You're just going to keep checking on it until they're done. So it's been about half hour, 40 minutes. These are well rested. It's time to unwrap them and see how we did. This is the best bit of unwrapping. It's like Christmas. I love it. Oh, look at those. They look amazing. Don't waste any of those juices that come back out of there. Put those back on. And they look absolutely amazing. Look at the pull back on those. They look stunning. for this. I want to see what that smoke ring's like. I want to see whether or not they're nice and juicy. Take a section out of this one as well. They are cutting like butter, I tell you. They are going to be magnificent. Look at that. That is gorgeous, and look at the juices coming out of that. Oh my god, that is incredible. They are so juicy. Oh, I cannot wait. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Those beef ribs were amazing. The salt, the pepper, and that beefiness when you bit into it. Oh my god, absolutely incredible. You have to try it. But please hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. I've got quite a few videos on there now, so please go and check those out. Any thoughts, any comments, please leave those down below. Anyone that takes the time and the effort to reach out to me, I will always respond to those, so please do that. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, so please go and check me out there. But until the next video, I'll see you then.